Okay, it's going to have some rhetoric. In this video, I'm going to use analogies and metaphors. Try to let you see the same thing from some different points of view. Work for that other book. This experiment is in peril. It's in jeopardy. The very foundation of the experiment is riddled with cracks, fissures. Internal stresses are eating away at the structural integrity. That is the basis of this exercise. This foundation, which is being ravaged as we speak, was poured with concrete, strengthened with superstition, aka religion. This experiment doesn't have a known end date. It's been running for about 2.5 centuries. This experiment, if you haven't figured it out already, is the United States of America. A place where great discoveries and successes have been achieved. Conversely, failures and setbacks have also occurred with regularity. This country has surpassed all others in money, power, weapons, brilliance, ignorance, crime, inequity, imprisonment. All of these things, both great and pitiful, are all caused by the same thing. It is this country's fatal flaw. It's our freedoms. All right, stick with me here. I'm going to talk about entropy for a minute. For those of you that don't know what it is, it's just a way to measure disorder or randomness. It's like an unraveling. The USA's freedoms, when new, began in relatively orderly manner. Many generations of all types have come and gone, each pushing the limits of freedom. And as more and more variables get introduced, this causes the stresses to grow exponentially. This is what it looks like from inside of entropy. It does not stop. The only unknown is when and how the experiment ends. The superstitions mentioned earlier, they show up front and center. In God we trust. This declaration to me has a target audience of one. God, the Almighty, needs to be worshipped a lot. Is it this superstition that we formed our foundation on? Yes. The government that was built on that foundation promoted their version of freedoms. However, it's well known that a lot of freedoms are what the government says you can do still. No matter how brilliant anyone thinks the forefathers were, they were just superstitious humans after all. The government, when created, could not fully appreciate or know how freedoms could mutate into an unrecognizable mass. In the early years, the young freedoms took root and grew strong. But in the last 60 to 70 years, we've seen limits stretched to, and in some cases, beyond their bounds. Today, freedoms are at the point where they have grown amok and are mutating into freedom tumors. These freedom tumors are beginning to metastasize. They have taken the forms of abortion rights, gun rights, racism, LGBTQ, social media, superstitions. Will these freedom tumors continue to eat away at this country? Will this country change? Will it take steps to treat the tumors no matter how drastic the remedy? Or will this experiment wait for God to lay hands and heal this country?